Somerset hang in after Burns and Elgar centuries for Surrey. Champions Surrey headed to Taunton to face the Championship's early pace setters Somerset after a high-scoring draw in their opening fixture. They had to make do without the injured Ollie Pope as they went up against the Somerset side showing strong early season form after they outplayed a tough Notts side at Trent Bridge in round 2. The defending champions won the toss and unsurprisingly opted to bat in glorious sunshine. But the Surrey openers looked to cash in on a lightning-quick outfield and a pitch that looked a belter, with both Burns and Stoneman picking up early boundaries. The Somerset bowling was disciplined, but the Surrey openers were able to bring up the 50 partnership with little trouble at a sun-drenched Taunton. And even the introduction of Jack Leach couldn't bring a breakthrough for Somerset. It looked like it was going to be a long day for the hosts as Stoneman brought up his 50 not long before lunch. But Somerset were able to make a crucial breakthrough before the interval as Brooks got one to nip away from Stoneman and the batsman nicked through to Davis. And soon after lunch, Somerset were jubilant when Borthwick flayed at a wide one from Gregory and edged to Overton at third slip. Surrey were in danger of wasting their good start after those wickets fell either side of lunch, but Dean Elgar came out to join Burns and settled in quickly. Burns brought up his 50 with a 3 off Gregory, and the 50 stand came up as Surrey reasserted their control, with the batsman largely untroubled. Elgar reached his own 50 with a pull through mid-wicket off Jack Brooks. Burns moved into the 90s after finding the rope twice in an over from Brooks, the second after being dropped in the deep. And T arrived with the champions in complete control, with the partnership worth 118 and Burns unbeaten on 95. Burns moved to 99 with a pull for 4 off Gregory, and the England opener reached a first 100 of the season off 179 balls, a solid innings in which he mixed patience with some excellent shots. Elgar brought up the 150 stand soon after when he launched Leach over mid-off for 6. Before Burns fell for a very well-made 107 when he missed time to pull off Grunwald to Overton at mid-on. And 1 wicket became 2 as Newman Folkes feathered a catch behind off Tom Abel. Before a late cut-off Abel saw Elgar become the second batsman of the day to reach his 100 for Surrey. But moments later the Centurion was gone, trapped LBW by Gregory, to leave Surrey 291 for 5 and Somerset right back in the game. And Gregory claimed a scalp of Jack's in the same fashion in his next over, the Surrey youngster falling for a duck. The experience of Ricky Clark was able to stop the rot, however, as he hit some valuable boundaries late in the day in partnership with Patel. And they saw their side to the close at 330 for 6, a strong position for the champions, but it perhaps could have been better on a wicket that looks like a batsman's paradise. Somerset vs Surrey finally poised after another even day at Taunton. Burns and Elgar both scored centuries for Surrey on day 1 at Taunton, but disciplined bowling by the Somerset attack kept the home side in the game. Ricky Clark was looking to lead his team's pursuit of the 400 mark, and he started fast by finding the rope in the first over of the day. The Somerset bowling attack was giving nothing away, however, and Clark and Patel had to be content with steady accumulation to take their team past 350 and another bonus point. Somerset's pressure soon paid off when Leach found some turn and produced a beauty to bowl Patel. And that seemed to put the cat amongst the pigeons as Morkel and Batty fell in successive overs soon after. Morkel flashing at a wide one from Grunwald, and then Leach pinning Batty LBW to leave the champions 9 down. Ricky Clark remained, however, to reach his 50 by driving Grunwald through the covers. And just as the final wicket stand was becoming a major nuisance for Somerset, it was ended on 28, when McCurr got a leading edge off Leach into the hands of Grunwald to wrap up the Surrey innings on 380. An excellent comeback for Somerset from 265 for 2 yesterday afternoon. That left the openers a tricky 15-minute session to negotiate before lunch, which they duly did with a couple of sumptuous boundaries in reaching 10 without loss at the interval. Surrey made an instant breakthrough when Trescothick played a loose drive to Conor McCurr's second ball after lunch and feathered through to Folkes. Azhar Ali and James Hildreth counter-attacked with a series of boundaries as they took advantage of some wayward Surrey bowling in the period after lunch. Ali smacked Morkel for a maximum as he looked to take the attack to the champions. The partnership between the Somerset batsmen was rattling along at 5 and over as they found the rope with ease. And Ali was able to reach his 50 from 49 balls with his 8th 4. Hildreth got in on the act with back-to-back boundaries off Patel, and the partnership was nearing 100 when Ali chipped a ball from Batty to Ryan Patel at mid-wicket, a tame dismissal for the overseas batsman. Abel fell for just one soon after. His eyes lit up when Morkel bowled him a short, wide one, but the Somerset captain could only pick out Dean Elgar. Hildreth remained to reach 50, but the run rate had dried up somewhat after Ali's dismissal. Bartlett was able to get off the mark with back-to-back boundaries off Batty though, and Somerset reached tea on 140 for 3, with Hildreth looking to push on from 61 not out and put his team in the ascendancy in the final session of the day. It was Surrey who struck first in the evening session, however, when McCurr trapped Bartlett LBW from just the second ball after the resumption. Hildreth counter-attacked again, this time in the company of Davis, as they found the rope with regularity. The runs were flowing in Taunton as the deficit dropped below 200. Hildreth was nearing yet another first-class century when disaster struck for Somerset as he got a leading edge to give Ricky Clark a return catch. Newman Gregory didn't look like he was playing for the close though, swiping McCurr over point for 6. And Stephen Davis had time to bring up his half-century before the close of another even day in the West Country. Somerset will begin day 3 on 243 for 5, still 137 behind, but with 5 wickets still in hand. All 3 results still possible after a thrilling day in West Country. It was all to play for at the start of day 3 after 2 even days from 2 well-matched teams at Taunton, with the host beginning the third day's play 243 for 5, still 137 behind, but with 5 crucial first innings wickets still in hand. Stephen Davis will have been looking to push on from 54 not out, but he fell from just the 11th ball of the morning as Batty pinned him LBW. Lewis Gregory isn't one to hang about though, and he found the boundary rope 3 times from the following over off Morkel. And Overton took the lead from his partner with a mighty 6 off the bowling of Batty. Gregory was motoring along and brought up his 50 soon after. The short ball did the trick for Conor McCurr, accounting for Overton as Folkes took the catch. That dismissal saw the run rate slow somewhat, but Gregory seemed to be biding his time, and he put his foot back on the accelerator to deposit Ryan Patel back over his head and into the stand. Another slew of boundaries, including 2 more 6s, took Gregory to the brink of a brilliant 100. But he would have to wait until after lunch as the break arrived to bring an end to a brilliant session for Somerset, leaving them just 27 shy of Surrey's first innings score. Gregory duly reached his 100 in the second over after lunch, the milestone coming up in 121 balls with 4 6s. Grunwald perished soon after when he could only fend Morkel to Borthwick at second slip. Gregory was still hitting the ball brutally as Somerset moved into the lead, going down on one knee and swiping Batty away for a 5th maximum. The fun had to end though, and Clark struck twice in 3 balls to remove Leach and Brooks, the first caught in the slips by Borthwick, and the second bowled after playing down the wrong line. That left Gregory unbeaten with 129 and everything to play for, with Somerset leading by just 18 on first innings. Burns and Stoneman came out to begin Surrey's second innings, but Gregory couldn't be kept out of the game, producing an absolute jaffa to account for Stoneman that seemed a way to take the edge and fly into the hands of Trescothick at slip. But Borthwick hit back to smash Gregory to the rope 3 times in his next over. Overton then took care of him in the next over, trapping him LBW with an in-swinger as the game moved on at pace. That put the squeeze on the Surrey batsmen as Burns and Patel played in survival mode, before Patel fell on the stroke of tea to a lovely piece of spin bowling by Leach, beating the inside edge and bowling him to leave Surrey 3 down and just 25 ahead. Burns finally registered his first boundary off his 70th ball with a sweep off Leach, and he followed it up with 2 more 4s from Leach's next over. He reached his 50 with an edge for 4 off Gregory soon after. But that man Gregory hit back in the same over when he pinned Folkes LBW to leave the champions 4 down, with Elgar unable to bat. Burns held firm, however, and he picked up 2 more boundaries from a Leach over as he moved beyond 70. Burns may have been thinking about 3 figures for the second time in the match, but a rush of blood to the head with just 3 overs of play remaining saw him charge down the track to Leach and get stumped by Davis. Surrey were able to prevent any further damage, but Somerset will hope they can prize out the remaining batsmen cheaply and give themselves a makeable final day chase. Fascinating game ends all square as weather intervenes at Taunton. A sparkling 100 from Lewis Gregory and the fall of 5 Surrey batsmen meant that all 3 results were still possible entering the final day after a fascinating 3 days of play at Taunton. Somerset will have been frustrated by the start of the day's play when Morkel used his long levers to streakily smash Gregory over the rope and then followed up with an edge straight through the cordon for 4. Talented tyro Will Jacks then followed that up with a couple of more orthodox strokes for 4 off the next over to bring up his half-century. But that was unfortunately that for the morning session, after only half an hour as the rain came to force an early lunch and perhaps scupper any chance of a positive result in what had been a fantastic game of cricket. Play belatedly began again after lunch at 2:15, and a belligerent Morkel was just beginning to become a nuisance when he went for 1 big shot too many off Leach and was caught at long on by Overton. And Overton claimed Jacks in the next over as he clattered his pad. Dean Elgar came out to bat at number 8 after being ill yesterday with Ricky Clark at number 9, and they represented a significant hurdle for Somerset to overcome in order to force a win as the overs ticked down. Grunewald did manage to produce a jaffer to dismiss Elgar, who could only edge behind to Davis for 17. Gareth Batty led a bit of a charmed life as he picked up some boundaries off Grunewald before the tea break, but with the overs running out, it appeared as if the 2-hour delay of play in the morning had ruined any chance of a result. The teams came out to play the final session of the game, but 15 minutes later they were off again because of bad light, and it looked like that would be that. They did eventually return to the field, but an over later the captains decided to shake hands. A disappointing end to what had been a fascinating game between 2 excellent sides. Surrey take 12 points from the draw and Somerset 11.